So there's no question that money doesn't make as much sense if you can't have food, right? So it's almost like we can be given all the stimulus checks in the world, but if we can't buy food or necessities that we need to get by every single day, then what's the point? And as holidays are peaking around the corner, I'm receiving more and more emails with information from you guys, the boots on the ground, the inside intel, the front line about food supplies seeming to be slowly going down in different parts of the country. And with that, would it be wise to stock up on what we can now, or would that just seem paranoid? I mean, reports have already stated that we will face food shortages in the future. Also, government agencies across the globe seem to be getting attacked by cyber criminals. And with most of our sensitive information located in these databases, would it be a good idea for local governments to amp up their cybersecurity so that we would be safe? Comment down below, just a quick yes or no. Let me know what you guys think. And for your daily dose of the truth when it comes to the US economy, the stock market, passive income, Social Security, and everything that's going on in Washington, D.C. that affects your wallets, be sure to go ahead and click that subscribe button and also click the notification bell icon too. I really do appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for hitting the like button on all my videos. And before we get started, I want to share with you some emails that I received after yesterday's video. The first being subject line hustle and side jobs. We all know that money is tight and inflation is on the rise. And with increased cost all across the board with food, gas, and now utilities with notifications being sent out to folks in the mail and via online email, budgets are going to be stretched to the limit while paychecks are going to be stretched to the max, where cost of living adjustments and cost of living increases and pay raises and performance evaluation increases are not even coming close to keeping up with the rate of inflation. But the email reads, could you tell me what would be a good side job and hustle to make some extra money, some extra income to sustain myself during the upcoming high price inflation? And another reading, just reaching out. I just watched your video and I'm trying to promote my fitness business on Instagram, and to no avail because clients do not seem to have the disposable income for a trainer. I'm also a funeral director who does contract embalming in South Florida, Hollywood area. However, it seems as if more people are moving towards cremation. Money is getting tight and I'd like to get your advice. Is there still some disposable income to squeeze out of clients with more aggressive promotion? Any feedback would be appreciated. Well, I can't give you my advice, but I do want to say a few things about this email. Number one, as it comes to disposable income, this is on the decline. Now, there are folks out there who are very well off. They earn lots of money. They have been investing for years. They have passive income streams. They own businesses. They have stock portfolios. Their net worth is exceptional. And they have the ability to make discretionary spending on non-necessities, wants versus needs. Now, I can't tell you off the top of my head how I would become more aggressive with promoting cremation services, as I have no experience in that whatsoever. But when it comes to business and the economy, although it may seem bad for some, it's good for others. And you just have to figure out, where do you fit in? Where does your business fit in? And what are you doing right and what are you doing wrong? And perhaps, maybe, who's your competition and how are they faring right now in this economy? Now, I will say that the fitness industry is a very tough niche to break into. And with all the options available from online training and apps provided by companies like Peloton, you got to get very creative when trying to attract that clientele. But we can talk about that further. If you guys want, go ahead and drop me a comment. Email me, my information is in the description, or go ahead and join the group and we can discuss it further. All right, now let's get right into it. So with the Democrats' chances for November still at the balance, the call for another stimulus check remains alive. Now, I don't know how many of you guys out there are actually banking on another stimulus check, but I guess there's still hope. Now, although the fire is faint, but we have heard the president himself talk about how stimulus checks helped millions of Americans in such an efficient way that maybe providing more might not be a bad idea. Granted, that is President Biden's position or point of view, but it would still come down to the Fed and Jerome Powell, to say the least. But I wouldn't put anything past him, because considering the situation and current position that we're in, We almost really need a miracle at this moment. So maybe a little bit more of the hair of the dog is what the doctor ordered. Now, the problem is that they seem to be taking their time. Even with inflation higher than expected and the price of goods soaring by the day, there doesn't seem to be any real urgency on their end to give out. However, some polls are predicting that the Democrats will most probably lose the House, a sign that they may turn it up just a bit more before the midterm elections. Although they may opt to do more about abortion rather than provide a stimulus check to voters, as President Biden has already committed to provide student loan forgiveness, a promise that took nearly 2 years to fulfill. But even with direct assistance in play, another crisis may end up becoming a bigger problem for many households across the country. Now, I guess this is more of a global issue rather than just us here in the United States, but with inflation as it is, food prices continue to spike upward. The situation is so dire for some that even the U.S. Army has been told to take advantage of their SNAP eligibility. As per Sergeant Major Michael Grinston, with inflation affecting everything from gas prices to groceries to rent, some soldiers and their families are finding it harder to get by on the budgets they've set and have used before. Soldiers of all ranks can seek guidance, assistance, and advice through the Army's Financial Readiness Program. However, some food banks are now closing as they face a supply shortage. And if you've gone out recently to get your groceries, depending on your area, there's at least one important ingredient that might be missing from the shelves. Now, food banks all over the world are starting to close as they can't keep up their stock with the demand from people who are struggling to keep food on their plates. A bit of good news, though, is here in our country, as the United States Department of Agriculture, or the USDA, has just invested $2 billion to add funding for food banks and school meal programs, the question then goes back to the supplies that they can actually get, because your money is not going to do much good if there's no food to even buy. So the food basket, Hawaii's lone food bank, is facing this crisis right now, where their stocks seem to be at a historic low as federal food shipments have gone down in the past few months. And this isn't an isolated case, as food banks around the country are starting to face similar situations. Couple that with the millions of Americans who now have to rely on SNAP benefits as well as these food banks to make their budgets work. So let's say you do have the financial capability to buy the food that you want. Some stores are actually limiting sales per person as the supply chain is still not as efficient as we would want it to be. Isn't this just a little bit insane? But how's your grocery shopping doing these days? Let's move away from food. Let's move on to the FBI, as they have just charged 3 Iranians in cyber attacks that have targeted local U.S. governments. And according to U.S. Attorney Selinger, ransom-related cyber attacks are a particularly destructive form of cyber crime. No form of cyber attack is acceptable, but ransomware attacks that target critical infrastructure services, such as healthcare facilities and government agencies, are a threat to our national security. Now, this is why it's important to always maintain our security online. Although what's terrifying is that government agencies have our information, we should expect our own country's cybersecurity efforts to be amped up, as we don't really need more problems than what we already have, especially one that will hold our information or computers for ransom. Now, these attacks have also reminded me that it's best to have physical copies of any government-issued documents as a backup at home. Now, it may sound silly to others during this digital age, but it's better to be safe than to be sorry. Now, on the topic of being ready for anything, I've discussed how a bike would fare much better than a car if ever you ran out of gas. Remember the Super 73? I just want to put it out there and let you guys know, I'm not sponsored by this tech or these companies that we'll be discussing, but I do find the upside of it to be something that most of us would be able to use if we find ourselves in a pinch for transportation. They're called e-bikes, and if you've never seen one, there's a guy on TikTok that literally goes around at about 30 miles an hour on one making DoorDash deliveries. Pretty amazing. Now, come to think of it, if you were deciding on doing deliveries and were wondering how to make money, this may be a good option. But besides that, a good e-bike won't hurt your wallet as much as a Tesla. It's also healthier for you too. Now, you might ask, why are you promoting a product that's not even paying you? Well, that's because I see what good this information might be for some of us in the community, the family. And with everything I learn, I also want the community to learn and prepare with me as well. So what do you guys think? Would you ever consider riding a bike like this to work, or just for fun? Or maybe make a few dollars having it for a delivery side hustle job? Share your thoughts and plans in the comments below. Oh, and while you're down there, make sure to smash the thumbs up button. Also, if you're new to the channel and want to keep updated with everything that matters to you regarding our economy and your money, make sure you subscribe, because if you want the truth, you know exactly where to get it. Thank you guys for watching. I really do appreciate it. You're all awesome.